everybody, my name is Victoria and this is Rehab Practices. Hello everybody, let's devote today's video to the theory, and today I want to talk to you about heart rate, resting heart rate and training heart rate, why it's important to measure it and what's the rules for measuring it. So I'd like to start from resting heart rate. Usually when we talk about heart rate we mean resting one, and for adult people resting heart rate, normal indicator of resting heart rate is between 60 to 90, but professional athletes could have less figures and it's normal for them. Then I want to say a few words about when we should measure this heart rate. Usually it is measured in the morning after you woke up. It's the best. But you also could measure it during the day, but you should remember that it shouldn't be measured after physical activity, even slow walking. It shouldn't be measured when you are nervous or when you are scared, or when you have any other strong emotions. And it shouldn't be measured after having a meal. And usually we measure it here on the wrist or on the neck from the side. You should try to catch pulsation from one side or from another, and then start calculating. And one more rule is that you shouldn't measure your heart rate by your thumb, because it has its own pulsation, and if you will measure it like this, it's very easy to make a mistake. So you should measure your heart rate by two fingers, front finger and middle finger, and it will look like that. When you find the pulsation, you should start calculating for 1 minute, and after it is finished you will know your heart rate in your calm state, so it will be resting heart rate. And the last what I want to add regarding rest heart rate is that usually health people usually have it stable. It can deviate from day to day, but the deviation is not very big, so you can calculate it for a few days or even for a week, and then to calculate the average, and this average heart rate will be considered as your heart rate in rest state, so your rest heart rate. And now let's move to the training heart rate. Why it is important for us? It is for first of all, it's what is it? Training heart rate is that one which you have while you are having any kind of physical activity. And physical activity is not when you are cleaning your flat, or when you are walking with your dog, or when you washing the dishes. Physical activity is when you're making some kind of exercises, or when you practice any kind of sports. You may even walk, but this walking should be in rather fast tempo. So physical activity, it's considered to be more active. And why we need to calculate this training heart rate? It is needed to understand if your physical activity is suitable for you. If maybe it is easy for you, or it's rather hard for you. Having this indicator, you will know how suitable your physical activity is. And training heart rate is calculated per each person separately. It is different per different people, and it is dependent. It depends on your age and on your resting heart rate. How to calculate it? I will describe underneath this video. So you will have the formulas, and you will have an opportunity to calculate it by yourself and to understand if your trainings, if your physical activity is suitable or not suitable for you. And what I wanted to add is that training heart rate is not a one figure. It's some kind of range of heart rates indicators, and there is minimum training heart rate and maximum training heart rate. So you will calculate the range, and then you should calculate your heart rate during you are making physical exercises, or just after you finished. You should calculate it not for 1 minute, but for around 15 seconds. That's because heart rate is very quickly restored. So the faster you make the calculations, the more precise results you have. So you should calculate it during 15 seconds, and then to multiply it for 4 to have your heart rate per 1 minute. And when you have this range for you personally, when you have your resting heart rate, you will have an opportunity to calculate if it's to check if your training heart rate is inside this range of your training heart rate, or it is within the limits of this range. So if your training heart rate, which you calculated during your physical activity, is less than your minimum training heart rate, it means that your physical activity is easy for you, and you have to make it more intensive. And if you calculate training heart rate, I mean the heart rate during physical activity, and it is much bigger than your maximum training heart rate indicator, this means that this physical activity is rather hard for you, and it's early for you to make such kind of exercises. You should do something or more slowly, or less repetitions, or something like that. So the intensity of your physical activity should be less. Now I will write down the formulas in the description, and you may try to start. I will make an example with my calculations, so you can see how to do it. I will appreciate your likes and comments if this information was useful for you, and I also offer you to make a subscription to get to know about my new videos.